welcome to the Today-ish podcast. I am your host, James Lee.
Hello, everybody. Dani Love here. We've got an amazing show for you today. Obviously, revisiting the Epstein files, all the stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of ish to dish today, if I may.
Wow.
You like that?
I do. I feel like we just came up with like a new tagline.
I know. We got a lot of ish to dish. We got the more revelations from the Epstein files, more bombshells. We also have a review of Pam Bondi's, I don't know what you call it, very much unhinged rants yesterday in front of Congress. Dani's going to be walking us through a little bit of a Michael Jackson tie-in with Epstein, I believe.
Last week, you guys liked my conspiracy side, and so you said, can we get more of this? And so you ask and you shall receive. And so we're going to be going over, was Michael Jackson framed? What happened there, why we could think he is, and is it even possible that he's still alive, like I believe Epstein is. Also, you'll see balloons in the background here.
Oh, here it is.
Because James's birthday's in February. I won't say the date, but I don't know
want
if
anybody stealing my identity.
Yeah, so I brought some balloons, so we're in a celebratory mood, and if you can even see behind that, we have a money tree for the Lunar New Year. That is next Tuesday, February 17th, the year of the fire horse. Let's go. I'm so excited.
Yes, and then also ending up still a little bit of more Erika Kirk drama. We don't know who she is at this point. No clue.
I mean, we're going to get into all of it. we have so much. But before we get started, we're going to thank our Patreon fans. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. We love you.
Thank you for subscribing to the Patreon.
And we got a lot of people in the chat saying happy birthday, James.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
It is another year around the sun. I'm getting old. I'm like 60 now. I feel like I'm 60.
Yeah. Well, I've always felt 60. Like, I've always been like an old soul. I've always felt like 65.
Well, okay. So you were asking me right before we got on,
yes,
what's your favorite artist? And I said Ray Charles. And he's like from the 50s.
Yeah.
So my Spotify listening age is like 78.
Okay.
No joke.
So the reason this came up is because last week I was bringing up the song Changes by Tupac. I quoted Tupac and I said, we got to change the way we eat. We got to change the way we live. We got to change the way we treat each other. And James was like, what? And he had never heard the song.
Oh, you're going to out me in front of everybody for not knowing
Well, there's
good
nothing
culture?
wrong with it.
For not
it's just the truth.
Knowing Tupac
So
music?
my bad. I had to ask, what's the genre? And we all love Ray Charles.
I mean, I love Ray Charles.
I love Ray Charles too.
Yeah, he has some bangers, yeah. Oh, okay. Are we going to do a little karaoke right now?
I mean, I would do Hit the Road, Jack. Okay, let's get into it. The Epstein files have just been so crazy. We're going to get into some of like the code words that have been being used. And I don't know if you want to start us off with that.
Well, so there are some interesting ones that are coming. I don't know where we want to start because there's so much of it. We can go with, okay, so this is an interesting one where Jake Shields, I don't know if people are familiar with Jake Shields, but he's the MMA fighter. But he noticed something very interesting the other day. And he said that he's reading the Epstein files and he noticed this word that Epstein keeps using, whoops. And it appears that he kind of like emails himself or replies in emails that somebody has either like died or mysteriously disappeared or had something horrible happen to them. And if you scroll down, there are some interesting if you go into the one with Rock right there, it says in response to Mary Kennedy's 2012 suicide, whoops, after news of an alleged rape, whoops, in permission to kill. You know that one that was like, hey, do I have permission to kill? We covered that last week.
Yeah.
Whoops. And then a mother-in-law's death, whoops. There's apparently over 400 messages in the Epstein files that have the word whoops in it, and all kind of is around like something bad happening to somebody, which I don't know. I just feel like they're so brazen. He's just like, whatever. I just killed the guy, or
Look, this is
pressed the button and he's now gone.
A group of elites that were using code words. We went over that in depth last week with pizza and Wayfair and Etsy postings. So they are legally covering themselves by not putting it in writing and using these code words. And so they're being smart in that way. But it's very obvious that these are not normal emails going back and forth. And for people that are wondering, about Mary Kennedy, they're talking about our Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr.'s first wife, who died by suicide, I believe, right? Hanging herself?
Well, that is the official story.
Right.
There are a lot of people. I haven't, to be honest, looked into her death very closely, but there are a lot of people out there saying that there are some very bizarre and weird circumstances around her death that may point to more like homicide.
Yeah. And last week I had said
allegedly,
that,
sorry.
Epstein is kind of like lower level, right? And so are all of these people that are in the files. And I believe Epstein has a boss, and then that person has a boss. And it's interesting that we know that his email has been active, and people are like, he hasn't sent out an email, but they know that somebody's been logging in, checking things. Sure, of course, it could be the DOJ.
Into the Gmail account?
Yeah, into the Gmail account prior to these files being released. Of course, it could be somebody in the DOJ. We don't know. But what I find interesting with the emailing himself, I don't think he's emailing himself. I think there's probably somebody that's on that higher tier that has access to the emails, that's tracking what is going on in their business. And so when he's replying to himself saying, whoops, or this and that, it's letting whoever has access to that email, the boss, know, hey, this is what's going on.
Got it. And it's probably, I'm going to say it's Israel. Some are saying it's Russia. Others say it's China. I still think it's
I think it's the Illuminati.
Okay.
So I think that, like I said last week, there's countries
But
involved.
who runs the Illuminati?
Well, there's 13 families. And we could actually play a clip that I had put last week that we didn't go over. But the Rothschilds, one of the, main families that's always brought up, right? And Epstein has openly said that he is a representative for the Rothschilds. He's very close with David Rothschild. And obviously they're very, tied in with Israel because they funded and helped found Israel. But yeah, let's pull up a clip that I had from last week and kind of go over who the 13 families are. Okay. By the way, I love this girl. I just found her. She has a lot of great videos. Where's the volume?
While feeding on children's souls in Vatican crypts. Look, let's name what they won't. The 13 bloodlines that run the world aren't who you think. Orsini, Aldobrandini, Pallavincini, Medici, Breakspear, Farnese, Rothschild, Rockefeller, Warburg, Hanover, Lee, Bruce, Habsburg. These are not old money. They are Baalic parasitic bloodlines, ritual sorcerers who hijacked empires and installed mind control systems under the illusion of religion, politics, and finance. Where's their origin point? Venice. The Black Venetian nobility ran Babylonian blood cults under Catholic masks. They merged with the Vatican, embedded into the Jesuit priesthood, and exported global slavery through maritime law, trapping you in birth certificates, taxes, and silent contracts with no consent. Venice wasn't a city of romance. It's a sacrificial basin. Why do you think the Pope wears a fish hat? That's not Christian. That's Dagon, a Nephilim water demon. Look, Epstein wasn't a financier. He was a human trafficker for the priest class. He ran blackmail rituals for the elite, orgies timed to celestial gates, using children pre-programmed through MK Ultra satellite nodes. Who funded him? Rothschild-backed banks. He admitted this. Mossad and CIA intelligence mergers. Chabad Lubavitch financiers masked as philanthropists. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell still alive? Because her father, Robert Maxwell, was a triple agent field operator for the Vatican Chabad MI6 axis. Epstein's Island's temple is a mirror replica of Baal's altars in ancient Tyre. Literally, the owl statues, not for aesthetics, they're invitation gates for entities. Comment, scroll, and I'll send you the full decoded map. Families, cults, islands, bloodlines, oaths, nothing hidden. everything unveiled. Think about it. Why do the Masons care more about rituals than politics? Because politics was just a front. The true power is ritualized trauma. Here's exactly how they move. Jesuits equal infiltration and education. They wrote your textbook, scripted your news, and flipped your morals through semantic inversion. Freemasons equal gatekeeping plus maintenance grid. Lodges are ritual fields, not clubs. The checkerboard floor, it's a dimensional binding grid. Chabad Lubavitch equals economic controllers of AI, neuroscience, and cloning. They bankroll the puppet governments, own biometric patents, and sit on quantum computing boards. All three serve the Black Sun priesthood. Shadow Vatican that answers to no government, no court, no god you were taught about. They install presidents, they run wars for soul harvest, and they script pandemics not just for population control, but for ritual sacrifice and initiation of mass trauma loops. Look, everything you were taught was a ritual veil. They fed on your doubt. They survived by your silence. But you're the anomaly. You, remember. Comment scroll below, and I'll send you the unredacted.
I don't know what, I mean, I got to be honest with you. Apparently my family's implicated, but I have no idea what she's, that's like way above my level, I have to say. Well, I'm going to openly admit that I don't know what she's talking about. And it sounds a little bit like AI wrote that. I'm just pointing that out, doesn't it? The way she it's like a lot of the construct, because I use AI a lot of times to like do research and things like that. So I kind of know how it writes, and it seems like a little bit. That's just my observation. I don't know who that is.
Honestly, she popped up recently, and I've been liking a lot of her videos because she comes at it with a different point of view, which I really appreciate. But I was really just kind of trying to get to the 3 bloodlines, and I forgot how deep that video went because that was a
that was a
because
doozy.
that was a clip from last week, so I haven't revisited it. But anyways, the point is, those are the people that I think are running things, and the Rothschilds are right in there. And so I don't know, maybe it's one of those 13 families that has access to the emails, the Epstein emails, but I don't think that Jeffrey Epstein's emailing himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, either he's like keeping notes or whatnot. Some people in the comments have agreed with me that it does sound like she's reading an AI script, by the way. Acetate 909, agree with you there. Apparently it's called contrast framing. That's the thing. It's like it's not this, but rather this.
Oh, the way she's speaking?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean that her thoughts aren't unique and that she didn't use her own thoughts to come up with a script and then put it through AI.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what AI she's using, but ChatGPT ain't let me saying that stuff. I'll tell you right now.
Well,
you put the Rothschild in? No. No. Not allowed.
But anyway, okay, so so Epstein, you think, okay, he has a higher level boss, and that's why he's writing emails to himself, just to denote, hey, this has happened, so then when they log into it, they see what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it goes like the
makes
Illuminati,
sense.
the politicians. Politicians are like overall not the sharpest tools in the shed, right? So I think they're front, like we always say, central
politicians
casting.
are the puppets. Those are the puppets that they've chosen as the face for the public.
Right. So the Illuminati would be the puppeteers, right? They're the shadow rulers of the world. But anyways, that's just one of the weird things. They're talking about whoops. And then jerky has come up a lot.
Yeah, do you think jerky... Okay, so I've looked through a lot of emails. By the way, here's Ian Carroll and his team have put out this great AI tool that has all the files in it, and you can basically... It's like ChatGPT or Grok, but it's just looking at the Epstein files, so you can go through and say, I want every single email that has the word jerky in it, analyze it. Do you think they're talking about beef jerky, or are they talking about like human bodies, this kind of thing?
I mean, he's on it.
And yeah, well, I want to give a shout out to the behind the scenes team, because I've talked to them as well, and they're just like mad coders.
Wow.
Back there, like putting together this repository of 3 million files into this AI program.
Oh my gosh.
And
did they do it for Charlie Kirk too?
I'm not sure if they did build the whole thing for Charlie Kirk yet, but the goal, from my understanding, is that you should own the data around your AI. You shouldn't be giving it to Google or OpenAI or whatever. So you can have like a local tool that you put your own information into and you're
Yes.
talking to, so then other people can't check on like what you're searching. Because OpenAI, if they wanted to go after you, they can go through and
my gosh.
they can look through every single conversation that you've had and they can expose you.
So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but in like my personal friends group, people are like, get a caricature drawing of what ChatGPT thinks you are, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen this trend?
No, I haven't.
So my girlfriends are like nurses or they're, business women, whatever. And they get these character drawings. They ask ChatGPT to do a character drawing of them. And they're like perfect. And they're like these beautiful girls. And they've got like babies on their hip. And they're like have money flowing and a dog's in the background. And they're drinking, right? These like perfect drawings. So I was like, oh, I wonder what character drawing ChatGPT would draw of me, right?
Yeah, what was it?
So I put it in. Mine was a bearded man. Okay. With a computer in front of it with aliens in the background. There was a Charizard sitting on my shoulder eating a slice of pizza.
Ooh, eating a slice of pizza, very interesting.
Well, I've done a lot of pizza research. And like a time thing in the background and space travel and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, I'm definitely not getting the the same character drawing. But anyways, I just had to say that. So even though they could give my information away, apparently as much as I talk to ChatGPT, it thinks I'm a male, for one, and with a beard. Oh, I was also like podcasting and stuff, but anyways, So it was kind of funny. I was laughing to myself.
Well, I mean, you are what you search, I guess.
I mean, I don't
so
know.
to speak. But speaking of which, all right, so let's take a look. This is Asmongold, and he's going over all the jerky references in the emails, and you can, take a look and see if they're talking about preparation of high quality beef jerky, or are they talking about something else here?
All right, let's take a look.
Hope you are feeling better. Did we analyze the jerky? Why didn't we get jerky this week? I also added more to the jerky and ginger lemongrass. Thank you so much. Super cool. Beef jerky, delicious. Jojo is here and we'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. We'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Why would jerky walk around? Why would it do that? Delicious lunch, beef jerky. Steve and I are very grateful above all for your friendship. Some of these emails are so wholesome, aren't they? It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't remember checking it. No need for crazy amounts of ice. One should do. There is one bag of beef jerky in the fridge. Please get it. Also, Blank has more at her place. Please get it from her as well. I suppose it needs to be in a cold, insulated bag. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in a downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze jerky? Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky. I gave you all the jerky we had, and it lasted only half the amount of time it was meant to. I felt like it was more important for you to have the jerky to eat during my time off. My plan is to make a batch before I leave for LSJ, and some of that will go to Steve, and the rest will go to you at LSJ when I arrive. Little St. James Island. And that's what LSJ must mean. So logically, that means that they were doing this off of the island. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Jeffrey Epstein is asking to bring him more jerky. I'm flying in on Friday. I will bring jerky. Is there a time I could come say hi and drop off the beef jerky? And that's from Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow. Show me how to make it. Jerky class anyone. He will bring you to taste his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. He sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called guys, the restaurant's called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it, beef jerky and steak. Can Blank make some jerky? I think we should landscape all around the house to use the water if possible, if the main house is not enough. Are there any recorded images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky at all? No, there are no recorded or publicly known images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky. Who sent?
All right, so it seems like it's possible, unless they really love beef jerky, they're talking about some other kind of meat. I don't know.
Yeah, I have not seen that video.
Yeah.
And off the bat, watching it for the first time, because I haven't done a beef jerky deep dive. I've been busy the last week. It seems that they're talking about human flesh that's already been, because they're talking about it's in the freezer.
Right.
We have to prepare it before we leave for
Well,
Little
because beef
St. James
jerky is supposed to
Island.
be cured, right? And it doesn't need to go into a refrigeration holding.
I mean, this is further proving my vampire point from last week.
Yeah.
Like, they're draining the blood, they're taking the adrenochrome, and then I don't know what they're... I mean, they said cannibalism in there.
Well, the restaurant.
But is it a real have we looked it up? That's not a real restaurant. No one's eating at Cannibal and Cooks.
Cannibal and Cooks.
That's fake. That's a like a joke.
It is. Let me verify.
Okay. In the meantime, we got a chat in here saying, jerky is the food version of person being moved. LOL. I guess, right?
Okay, so apparently the Cannibal is a restaurant in the Murray Hill neighborhood of New York City that it's no longer open, that was known for its whole animal butchery.
Okay. Also, I can't get this chat off for some
Oh yeah,
reason.
you just got to close it.
I know, it won't click. Here, maybe you can try. Look.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
He's like, you're not doing, but I'm telling you. So the show's over, guys, because we can't get this chat off.
There it is.
No, I'm just kidding. We know that they're not eating pizza and grape soda. I saw Ian Carroll and Tucker Carlson's interview and they were talking about this. Like, these were people that were in very good shape for the most part. Jeffrey Epstein, for sure. There's a lot of conversations going back, about what they... about that they cared about their health and like they're doing these things for longevity. I don't know if I talked about this on the show last week. Did I talk about the bell at San Jose de Garcia Church? Did I talk about the bell last week? And the frequency sounds, or was that after? But it seems as though Jeffrey Epstein, specifically at Zorro Ranch, they were experimenting with ways to elongate their life.
And you think jerky was a human flesh?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, pizza and grape soda is not going to do that. So we know that has to be a code word. So, which leads me to believe beef jerky is as well.
It does sound like, all those examples, it seemed like nobody's like that excited about beef jerky. And if he was, we would probably have seen him back in the days promoting some kind of beef jerky business or so. I don't know, right? We would have seen him serve up some beef jerky to his, friends that he's giving tax advice to. Say, hey, man, try some of this jerky. Boom.
Or he'd own some fucking cows.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Zorro Ranch would be filled with cows, and he'd be making the beef jerky. Like, as far as I know, they didn't have...
Right, where are they getting this meat from?
That's what I'm saying. Like, where's the source? We know they're trafficking all these children. So, I don't know.
Well, so speaking of eating babies, the that's such a bad sentence to say. You know what I mean?
Yes, please.
But the head writer of Pulp Fiction was recently on the Joe Rogan
Hope you are
podcast,
feeling
and
better.
He
Did we
confirm that some of these people were consuming, non-animal, human meat here. Here's the clip.
Man, like that's
Do you think so that you think is real? So
well, yeah. Not only that, I think that there's sacrifices going on every day in Los Angeles. I mean, allegedly, like high level musicians, let's say, high level female musician is like killing chickens every day, doing sacrifices, like
high level.
Well, I don't want to say. I don't want to say names because I don't want to get sued, and I don't want to be dead either.
What does it rhyme like?
Here's the purchase order. I started looking at the comments for some stuff. Not that
they're eating babies, man. Like that's.
Do you think so that you think is real? So
well, yeah. Not only that, I think
right.
that there's sacrifices going on every day in Los Angeles.
Oh, it's the same thing. I was like, I want to hear the rest.
Allegedly, like,
So that guy obviously doesn't want to get killed. So he's just like, hey, by the way, this stuff is happening.
Well, yeah, and we played a clip last week, I believe, with Roseanne Barr telling Tucker Carlson that.
Yeah.
Remember? And she's like, they're eating babies.
I know, and it just makes people sound like crazy, but it seems like it's not so crazy anymore. And we don't know if it's babies. We don't know if it's 10-year-old. I don't know. It's very, very disturbing.
Well, look, going back throughout history, throughout different civilizations, there is a...
Like, are there just... I mean, this is the stuff that you know better than I do. So there's, like, civilizations, cannibalistic practices that are prominent.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say sacrifices, right? You leave your sacrifice at the altar. And, you know, because he was saying, like, chickens, then he said babies. So it seems that this is... you know, happening, and the Epstein files are confirming what a lot of people were called crazy for even thinking.
Right.
Whether it's a chicken or a baby, obviously there's a big difference there.
Well, I mean, I eat chickens all the time. It's part of my regular diet, you know, if I may.
Yeah, but I think that they're like beheading them and putting them on an altar and, you know, doing some stuff with it,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I want the chickens to come headless, unfortunately. I mean, like, I think it's like if you think about consuming animals and you really, you know, visualize it, I could see how some people go vegetarian because it's just so inhumane, especially if you see some of the chicken factories, right? They're like stuffed in there. They're eating their own poop and
It's
they
so
can't
disgusting.
move. It's like completely abhorrent. And those are the cage-free ones.
Um,
And those are because they're not in cages technically, they're roaming, but they're still in this like super packed facility.
this is why I don't eat chicken.
You don't eat chicken
No, fuck no,
at all.
at all.
Wow, not even if you go to a nice restaurant that's like free range, this and that,
Nope.
costs like $70.
No.
Wow.
First of all, my grandma always told me, if you go to a restaurant, don't order chicken.
Because it's low quality.
Because, I mean, like, why wouldn't I be getting the filet? You know what I mean? I'm not, but no, I don't eat chicken. I used to growing up, but I've just learned too much about it, and it's just, I can't. It's gross. I think it's, you know, I think a lot of food poisoning happens from chicken.
Wow. So, well, especially the chicken in the U.S. I believe the chicken sold in the U.S. can't be sold in other countries in terms of the quality
Oh, I believe it.
that we have versus the standards of other countries. Apparently, European countries have like higher standards. I don't know exactly the details around what we put in it. It's something with the injections or something like that, but it's not allowed to be sold in Europe.
I mean, the size of like an average American chicken breast is like the size of a whole chicken in Italy.
And that's why we dominate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. But anyways, I think really, really dark, horrible stuff was going on. And
Dark, horrible stuff was going on. There's
And it's
also
still going on.
It's still going on right now because, you know, we have a bunch of clips of Pam Bondi coming up that I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the cage email as well. Right he's talking about cages.
I just want to like kind of loop this because he's talking about all the people in the music industry. And a lot of people have seen, like, I don't even want to do it. Oh my God, thank God I didn't do it.
What?
I almost
Because
did.
then you screenshot it?
Oh! I almost did the one eye symbol, which is like the Illuminati symbol.
Yeah,
right?
Wait, show me what that looks like real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But this is a little compilation of a bunch of people in the music industry that have done this. And I would start by saying these are probably the people that should be looked at first.
And so I sold my soul to the devil.
Hopefully, I think we're gonna get this copyright strikes. This
Oh, should I stop it?
Lucifer.
well, now it's just but yeah, I see them. Okay, Bella Thorne. Is it like you have
To
to?
this was fucking easy. I don't know, getting molested for fucking from your 6 to your 14.
You have to mute it in the afternoon, not the because that's just muting our speaker.
Oh. Anyways, there's a long list of these people. And by the way, they're everywhere.
And you have to do this to get a record deal? Is that the situation?
Well, I think it's symbolism of who they're aligned with. Right?
And they just need to make sure that they know. They're just like telegraphing that, by the way, this is happening. Why wouldn't they want to keep this like more DL? You know, why do they have to telegraph this to everybody?
It's kind of like a gang sign, right?
Got you, yeah.
Like throwing up the W, like West Side. Although you never listened to a Tupac song, so I don't know if you know that. But you know what I mean? Like.
Oh, I'm familiar with the West Side.
Okay. But you know what I mean? I think that kind of stuff. And by the way, I don't know if I have this clip. Oh, I do. But it's not just people in the music industry. This is a clip of Biden doing it, although I'm sure this is Biden's body double. I mean, you know, I've believed for a long time the Biden we saw during the presidency was not the Biden that we had as vice president before, but...
Don't pay a cent. Don't pay a cent.
It's just weird. It's everywhere, right? It's in politics. It's everywhere. And,
well, I mean, okay, so one thing about the body double, because I do agree there's some weird stuff going on, but wouldn't they have found like a more competent body double?
Well,
right?
no, I think the whole point is
He's
to
like
act that
so bumbling
this way.
around, you know. Why wouldn't they just get a good body double in there and just have him take over versus whatever the hell that happened where he was incoherent the whole time?
Because I think that was setting the stage for Trump to win and take over. I think that every president is placed by this higher power, right? Like you said, they're puppets. And so that's why we've talked about many times, this isn't about left or right. They're all a part of the same bird, right? Right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. It's all the same bird. And so what I think is that they set the stage with Biden, mass migration, open borders, lawlessness for Trump to be elected. So Trump could come in. He can, you know, now usher in more of that AI surveillance state, police state, because the people are begging for it. It's the same reason that I worry with everything that's going on, that they are going to set the stage for us to, like with the Epstein files. Oh my God, it's everybody. It's everybody, right? We don't want humans anymore. Please, we want AI to govern us, right? And even in like past Joe Rogan episodes, he said way before all of this is probably like 10 years ago now, like, damn, could AI be in charge one time? And he was saying it in a positive way. We wouldn't have all the corruptness in politics. The problem is that if we have Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and these guys controlling and writing the script for AI, Sam Altman, it probably isn't going to be good for the human race.
Right. We just had a major engineer resign very publicly from Anthropic, which is the AI company behind Claude, because he basically said, I can't do this anymore. It's like, this is going to be the end of humanity, and I don't want to do this.
Well, look, you know, I love what Candace said on, maybe it was one of last week's episodes. I wasn't watching it, but she said something along the lines that if the Epstein files have taught us anything, it's that God is real. And the reason she said that is because it's obvious in these files that these people hate God. They hate Jesus, they hate God, and also satanic rituals are going on. Satanic blood sacrifice rituals are going on. And so if the devil is real, if Satan is real, if Lucifer is real, God is also real. And so when it comes to AI, there are many people that believe that AI is going to end up being a software, a technology for Lucifer's body or entity, soul, to go into. Now, I know that's really crazy. That's really out there, but I'm just telling you the word on the street, okay?
Is that what the people on the street are saying?
That's
well, how
the
do you
word
know?
on the street.
Well, so why can't the good take over AI?
It could, right? It absolutely could. But this is the worry. This is the concern. And I think there's a battle, a spiritual war going on. I've talked about this many, many times. And I think AI is going to be a huge component of that. because AI could be a huge tool for us, right? If AI can automate all of these jobs and do all these things, it would give humans more time to pursue their passions, their dreams, art, right? Philosophy, their creative juices, get those running. But if it gets in the wrong hands, right, it's like going to enslave humanity type of a thing, or even just cause us to go extinct because they'll take over Terminator style.
And look, I mean, maybe that's just where we're headed. Maybe that's just part of evolution, right? We've kind of scripted our own demise, so to speak, right? Because we could take a different path right now. We could choose to take a different path, but we don't. So we're just going to continue and see what happens, right? It's Darwinism, right? The survival of the fittest. Obviously, we're making ourselves unfit to survive.
Yeah, I think that the, people that are evil, that are, trying to control things, are doing a very good job at mind control and distractions. You saw the clip of the guy in the Atlanta airport over the weekend?
I did see that. The guy was basically going on, this is not normal, like you guys are plugged into the Matrix kind of thing.
Well, he was just saying the Epstein files were released.
Yeah.
And you guys are all acting fucking normal. And it's true. It's like we go out to the grocery store, you go out to get your matcha, you go run errands, you do this and that. Everybody's just carrying on.
Well, there are things that you can control and things you can't control, right? So you can't spend all day just focused on the Epstein files because you have very minimal control. You could probably voice displeasure. There are some things that you can control and not participate in the system, quote unquote. But if you spend all day just yelling about the Epstein files, then you're going to neglect your family, your friends around you. So I wouldn't recommend that path.
No, it's just interesting though. Like last summer, there were no King's protests going on for President Trump.
Yeah.
And then, there's proof now that the elites and the people we're paying taxes to are involved or friendly with the largest blackmail sex trafficking ring. And we're like, how many pounds is that beef? I'll take 3.
Okay, so I agree with that point because I think I also made this when we were talking about ICE a couple of weeks ago. Right? It's why do they choose that issue to get people on the streets versus the issue of a major blackmail pedophilic ring? People that should be on the streets for that because this is like a uniting issue. I think people of both sides see this, and once that happens, I feel like they start to lose a little bit of control. So they want to pick an issue to get people on the streets for that's divisive, that you can't really come to an agreement. Everybody can come to an agreement on not, sex trafficking kids.
Right.
But we can't come to an agreement on immigration. We just can't.
Right. Instead, they're like, what Super Bowl show are you going to watch? It's like ridiculous. We got a super chat. I'm going to pull this in. It's very small now, James. There we go. Julix super chat. Please do a deep dive into J.E. and Friends' ownership of Life Touch School photos and Jostin's yearbook. Are the kids safe? What's been done with our data?
Okay, so I came across this morning. I have not had a chance to do a deep dive, but from my understanding, it's like the owner of Life Touch. Like the people who take photos in elementary schools. Like you
I never looked good in those photos.
We'll have to bust it out and see and let everybody judge. But apparently he's tied into Epstein in some kind of way. We don't know what's happening. These photos are showing up in weird places. It's like, did they keep a repository of all these photos for whatever purposes, right? Is there some database? I assume, yes, maybe it's like when you go through and they have a photo, they probably save it somewhere. But then who else has access to these photos? Are they being used in some weird way? Like disgusting people are going in, they're able to log in.
I mean, that would be the least nefarious, right? If they're just looking at the photos. Or are they getting these photos and they're targeting certain children that look a certain way to abduct and traffic them into sex trafficking rings?
That I have to, so that's the part I don't want to make any claims. I mean, that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that it's some kind of recruiting tool where they go through this database and say, which ones do you like? And then we'll try to set it up for you in some way.
Because if you were able to pick out what you were attracted to, this is so disgusting, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, we like this blonde hair, blue-eyed little girl, right? They would know the school she goes to. They would probably be able to look in a directory through that school of her parents' address for emergency contacts, right? I remember we had a directory in elementary school, everybody's name, their parents' phone number, the addresses. Think about how scary that is. It really wouldn't take a lot of effort to be able to work backwards from a picture because they're telling you the name of the kid
right
in the yearbook.
No, I mean, this is a huge, huge security issue, which reminds me of the Leon Black allegations that we have that have just been discovered. And Leon Black is the founder, I believe, of Apollo Management. It's like a huge hedge fund. And some of this stuff, I don't know if I can really even read this kind of thing, right? It's like Leon Black, Wall Street, founded private equity firm, blah, blah, blah. But then you see the second list of bullets, right? 7 to 8 years. I don't know if that's an age. Looks like a potential age, right? Leon Black doing violent things. I can't read some of this stuff out loud, right? This is...
Oh, God.
Yes. And we're redacting, this information. Oh, no, sorry, this hasn't been unredacted. This is why it's recently come out. But if you read some of these things, right, got a call from a victim who is, this was 20 years ago. So that's like, this got to be one of the biggest cover-ups of all time. And he was just allowed to be on Wall Street doing whatever. And who knows? Maybe he, how do they find these women? Right? 7 to 8 years old.
Well, it might be the yearbook thing.
Yeah.
It might be the school photos.
That's what I'm saying. And then you have, people like Cash and Pam Bondi going on saying, well, we have no evidence that anybody other than Epstein was involved in any kind of child sex trafficking. And here we have, obviously, Leon Black, right? Here's a name. This guy should be investigated at the very least. But so that, I think they're lying under oath, most likely. Both of them are under oath in Congress. Well,
we already know Pam Bondi's lied several times, whether it's under oath or not, right? She's the Erika Kirk of the administration. She is.
Yeah, well, because before, I posted this on Twitter yesterday. There's that clip that James O'Keefe captured from April where she's talking about, man, there's thousands of videos of children, and this is horrible, horrible stuff.
Shout out to James O'Keefe.
Yeah, and then today, or yesterday, she was like, there's nothing in there. Like, you guys are ignoring the greatest stock market of all time. What are you doing?
She's gone back and forth multiple times. And, with this yearbook school picture thing, thank you so much for bringing that up into the super chat. At this point, what motivation do parents have to send their kids to school anymore? First it started really with the COVID stuff, right? We're putting out an experimental medical treatment that has not been proven over time. It didn't even go through the 6 years of testing. You're going to require our children to get these shots. We know they're being indoctrinated. They're not even learning life skills that they're going to need, right? The education programs are far behind other countries. Kids are being bullied in school. Kids are being shot in school. They're not safe. And now it could be a setup for child trafficking with the elites.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if school is like set up because, we can use it to child traffic, but I certainly think people are going in and infiltrating some of these systems. Because I do believe, I've done pieces, this is just normal reporting pieces on public education versus private schools. And I do think there's a concerted effort to destroy the public schools in the United States because it doesn't serve the elites well when you have like a well-educated population. If you educate them well and you teach them how to think and analyze things, they might start getting some ideas that you don't like. So then you funnel them toward, you destroy this institution and then you make it more expensive to get a good education. So I think some of that is done on purpose for less nefarious reasons than child traffic. I think it's more so like you can control the population.
100%.
Like workforce, like you just teach them how to be a good foot soldier or a good worker bee kind of thing. Exactly. Slave would be a good word to use there. So I think some of it is for that. I think they're purposely destroying public schools because I do think a lot of the countries that have good, free public education, they do better economically. the population's more happy, they have more freedom, and those are good things. But you can start to get a little perverted when they start thinking short term. It's like, oh no, we just want like cheap workers and things like that, and that's where we start going downhill.
Well, and when you think about what we're going through right now in history, right? Let's just talk about the Charlie Kirk assassination. How will this be written in history books in 15 years from now? What will the children being born now learn in high school about Charlie Kirk? That he was shot by Tyler Robinson with a 30-06 and that he was a crazed trans furry. And we know that's fake. We know that is not accurate information. So it is disturbing to look back and wonder, what did we learn in school?
Yeah, nothing. Not nothing, but I certainly didn't learn about a lot of things, right? I remember, because I studied political science in college, that was my major, and I did a whole course on Japanese history. Now, not at one moment in that entire course did they teach us
about matcha.
Well, no, they did go into the. No, I'm kidding. I was like, yeah, we spent a whole day on matcha. Actually. Not once did they teach us that the entire Japanese political system was basically set up by the CIA. They went in and toppled the post-World War II Japanese governments that were starting to veer towards like socialism, and they just like basically jailed or killed a bunch of those people, slaughtered them, and then put the people that were the war criminals from World War II in positions of power because these guys could be controlled. They were going to do things that were favorable to us. Didn't learn that.
No,
and I'd be like, that would be critical history to learn that, oh, basically the entire Japanese government is like CIA run.
I mean, yeah. But we wouldn't learn any of that stuff. And when you look back at just the pyramids, this is something that's debated widely. Everybody talks about it. Just the precision that was used to cut each stone to build the pyramids, which that time would have been during the Bronze Age. So when you look at the tools, it wouldn't have been able to be done, right? So we know that the past civilizations are far more advanced than we've been taught.
So I have heard that's like the Graham Hancock theory, where he's talking about the Sphinx, right, being like much older than it actually is. That ties in, I believe, with that, because he was on the Joe Rogan. I think
Well, Graham Hancock is like, definitely one of the guys that talks about this. But I'm just simply talking about each stone, like a brick, but they're giant.
But what about so then that and Easter Island or like Stonehenge?
Those are.
These kinds of things, are they just alien stuff? Is that?
Or have they suppressed ancient knowledge that? For example, I was on this guy Maverick Bailey live this week, and we were talking about these bells that were discovered at Zorro Ranch. Okay, so in the 1930s and during World War II, the Nazis went and confiscated between 150 and 175,000 church bells across Europe. And they said that they did this because they needed it for the metal, right? They needed to melt it down, and they needed to make bullets with it and artillery and all these different things. But there were conspiracy theorists that were saying, no, they're getting rid of these bells because these bells have healing frequencies for the human body. The human body is made out of 60 to 70% water. And if you go back throughout all of these societies, whether it's in China, India, Japan, they use these sound frequencies to balance the chakras or heal you mentally. And that's why they are used if there was a plague, if there was a death, and every morning and every night to like reset the body. And so, but nope, these bells were melted down, they were used. But recently, they've now been finding some of these bells buried underground. And this is a story that nobody's talking about that I find super fucking interesting. My New Year's resolution isn't going wrong. Well, remember I said I wasn't going to use the F word? Anyways, they found one of the bells. It's written in an FBI write-up found in the Epstein files. It's the bell of San Jose de Garcia Church from the 1800s as the centerpiece at Zorro Ranch.
Okay.
And you just have to wonder, Zorro Ranch is Epstein's property in New Mexico, and we know that there were underground like medical testing facilities there. That's where they did like a lot of their transhumanism stuff. That's where they did a lot of, right, Juliette Bryant, one of the victims, came out last year or maybe in 2023 and was talking about how she woke up surrounded by all of these doctors. We know that Epstein was very into like transhumanism and, you know, reverse aging through blood doping, same with Peter Thiel and all these other guys. And so is it possible that there's these other technologies like possibly sound frequency that was used to heal the body, and maybe they were experimenting with that? Why would this bell be at Zorro Ranch? It's just odd. And of course, the story didn't go viral. I did it. You know, it went like 100,000 views or something. It didn't go like super viral. But to me, that's so interesting. And it ties back to potentially stuff that was possibly used in the past.
Mm-hmm. So he's digging up these bells because he believes that there's a certain healing quality to them, and this is why the Nazis. The less conspiratorial theory around the bells would be probably Nazis wanted to destroy religion, right? They just wanted to get, because Nazism would be the religion going forward.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you could look at it in a million different ways, right?
But you're saying these bells also have some kind of healing frequency that prompted Epstein to dig it out and install
well, look,
it
I don't think Epstein was there with the shovel.
Okay, so yeah.
Like, just to be clear, you know, I think maybe these are artifacts and there's, you know, elite groups of people that maybe have the real history books, right? The Vatican history books, and they're experimenting with these things. And it's not just healing properties, but like, have you ever seen an opera singer break a wine glass with the pitch of her voice?
I have not.
You've never like seen that before, or like
seen it? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, anyways, there are experiments, and there are people that believe that possibly there were people that were able to use different frequencies to move these heavy blocks into place.
Really?
Yes.
The Egyptian pyramids, they were using sound frequency. I mean, I know sound frequencies can move. I mean, that's why your iPhone moves when it rings, when it vibrates.
Right.
It shifts.
Right.
So you're saying that there's also that, remember that weapon you were talking to me about? Like how
Yes.
the sound frequency weapon, and then it like moves somebody back like physically.
Well, they move back because
as a
the
protest.
Heat.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
couldn't this be used in like to move stuff like blocks?
Well, exactly. So the point is, why aren't we studying that stuff in school? Why aren't kids with bright minds being told, "Hey, this is information, you know, let's research this, let's explore this."
Look, it might be because this is what I would think. It might be because we have certain energy resources that are dominant right now with a lot of business and economic interests that are wanting to perpetuate it. So if you found other types of energy that could be harnessed to, you know, power cities and communities, these guys that currently hold power would, you know, no longer hold power in the future, right?
Well,
that's why the people who invented the hydrogen car or whatever gets
exactly.
You know,
they die. Nikola
Yeah.
Tesla dead.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, yeah. Anyways.
So that makes. I mean, I think that's where I would go, because like you. That's always where my first thought would go. Is like, is there some kind of like economic interest that would justify?
I think
what
it's
they're
more
doing?
the slave interest.
Well, that is an economic interest,
Right? Yeah, it's to keep the people where they belong.
Right.
Dumb and stupid. You know, we're going to make sure that the information they learn is stupid. We're going to make sure the education is set up where they're just memorizing a bunch of shit. You're not even really learning in school. You're memorizing facts. And we're going to feed them poison. We're going to poison their water. We're going to put chemtrails all over the sky. We're going to dumb them down in every way we can. We're going to shoot them up with 86 vaccines before they're in fucking kindergarten.
Well, so I think another thing, too, that the history books also kind of indoctrinate us is like the good guys versus bad guys. Because you talk about this all the time. There's good versus evil. And that's subjective a lot of times, because you don't, like what is defined as good, what is defined as evil. And so then they actually have the power to define that for you. And it probably would differ from your categorization of good versus evil, right? That's another power that I think that's even more so than maybe like memorization of facts or whatever. It's just like, these guys are the good guys, these guys are the bad guys. Remember that. And they reinforce that over and over again.
Yeah, I think that there is a human intelligence that we all have. I think women have it stronger than men, sorry to say, and it's called intuition.
Okay.
And regardless what you're taught in school about good and bad, maybe it's because women have to, we're not the predators, right? We have to worry about predators growing up, right? As someone who's 5'1" and like 115 pounds, you know, and I think I'm very strong, I would go to a parking structure at night and I would be worried about my surroundings. And you know, by having conversations with certain people, by looking at them in the eyes, are they good or bad? So yes, I do think that they can teach you this is good and this is bad objectively, but I also think that our instincts, when the hair on the back of your neck goes up, that type of a thing, if you're in touch with yourself, you can also navigate that too. And that's a different intelligence.
Maybe, but it's defined by certain parameters, like background information to decide good or bad, right? Because I feel like back in the days, right, when I was going to school, you were kind of taught like, hey, some dude with a turban, probably not a good dude. Like that's a heuristic that you're taught. And then you kind of flip that nowadays with the whole Israel thing coming out and you realize, oh, maybe the so-called good guys are doing evil stuff and we were never taught that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I do think that there is some framing around the issue like that can override your intuition, right? That's possible. Maybe like in the moment, your intuition will kick in, but like overall framing, like even me growing up, and I was talking to my mom about this, and she was like, oh yeah, I always thought like, because all she remembers from back in the 80s and 90s was like the Arafat guy versus Sharon. Like you see the Israeli guy wearing a nice suit, the Palestinian is wearing like this garb that's Middle Eastern looking, and she's like, oh yeah, that's a terrorist look. That's 100% terrorist. And now, if you learn more about the situation through education, then you might frame that a little differently. Oh, maybe the guy in the suit is a puppet. Maybe that's what's going on, and not exactly what they say they are.
No, I agree that they definitely want to try to shape our perspective on who's good and bad. And that could override some people, but I can only speak for myself. My gut is right 100% of the time.
That's very confident.
And a lot of women will agree with you. And you'll have a lot of people tell you that when they didn't listen to their gut, they regret it. You never regret listening to your gut as a woman.
Okay.
And so
so let's talk about let's test that out. Let's go to I-7. This is Pam Bondi. Let's see what your gut says about I-7 on the right, Florida AG ad, not the now NASDAQ Dow, all the way to the right, Florida AG ad. Boom. This is her original ad when she was running for Attorney General of Florida. Let's take a look and see what your instincts tell you.
Human trafficking, where young women and children are enslaved and abused. I knew we needed all hands on deck. Businesses and hospitals to spot it, our great law enforcement to stop it, and tougher penalties to punish it. We're taking on Medicaid fraud, pill mills, gangs, and more. And I'll fight to put human trafficking monsters where they belong, behind bars.
Pam Bondi, our Attorney General.
All right, what do you think about that? Would you vote for that person right there? She's going to put the human traffickers behind bars.
Honestly, watching that right now, it looks like an SNL skit to me.
Yeah.
Like.
That was in like 2012 or something like that.
Right now I watch that and I think, I just, like, I'm too far deep. I watch it and I'm like, she's an actress, right? She's fake as fuck. Like, I don't know. What does everybody else think? I mean, that's what I think. But that's also, influenced by what she was saying yesterday at the press conference. Should we play that clip?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have already seen it, but let's hear it one more time because I have actually.
All they want
somebody,
to do.
Pointed something interesting out that I'll say after this.
Okay.
With it, all they want to do, all the American people need to know this.
They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million, and Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
I mean, she pivots from blaming the Epstein situation on Obama and saying this has been around since Obama. Now Trump is the most transparent, to saying, why are we even talking about this? Stock market's just at all-time highs. People are, are you tired of winning yet kind of thing?
Well, look.
It's insane.
It would be one thing if Trump released the files on his own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you could listen to what she's saying and you'd go, wow, he is the most transparent president in history. But he didn't. Thomas Massie is the one responsible for getting these files released. And we know there's still more than half of them out there. And they're all redacted.
Right.
So it's not the most transparent. If you're going to be delivering justice, let's start stoning people again. Sorry. If you did this to a 7-year-old girl, put them out in the public square, everybody grab a stone, bye-bye. That's how you're going to die.
Right. And I agree with you on the transparency. It's like, yes, he did technically release the files. Biden didn't do anything about it. Obama didn't do anything about it.
My chat go.
But the issue here is that he was forced to release these files. Not through, he didn't want to. He was calling it a hoax several months ago.
Exactly.
Right? It's not like, oh, yes, this is going to be my top priority. He's like, no, can we just move on from this thing? So that's disingenuous. And then the other observation that somebody made yesterday that I saw that was like kind of spot on was like, she's actually sort of telling the truth there and pivoting to the Dow and the NASDAQ. And she's kind of signaling that if we were to prosecute these people, the stock market would crash.
Oh.
It's like the market kind of depends on us covering this up. I was like, okay, that's kind of a keen observation that she's kind of telegraphing, is like, don't you want the stock market to be up? Because if we go after these people, there's going to be a whole market collapse. You wouldn't want that on your hands, would you?
I mean, yeah, that's insane.
Do you want me to get the chat back for you?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm missing my people. My chat disappeared. Boom, we back. And look, when you look at some of these emails, I just want to bring this one up because we did it before. This is crazy if you haven't seen this yet. The same day as the FBI began child sex trafficking probe into Epstein on December 6, 2018, Epstein ordered 55 gallons of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid dissolves bones and leaves no trace. Is that the craziest thing you've ever heard of in your life?
It's hard to say what the craziest thing I've heard of in my life now with all these files. I mean, there's a trap door on the island, that just leads into the ocean. Like literally, you saw that picture?
No.
Trap door in one of the rooms that just goes straight to the ocean. Like they could just dissolve people, boom, right in the ocean. Insane.
I mean, I think of a lot of other things with that too. That's also an escape route. I can't remember who it was, but they were...
Oh, so you're saying that that's an escape route?
I mean, it could be.
I think it's a way for them to dispose of things.
Well, look, I'm not gonna remember a lot of the foundations and words here, but Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein had started or had founded or donated to, is it the Ocean? What was that program with the Clintons?
Oh, I can't remember the name. Yeah.
Okay. And it was a bunch of research in the ocean, and they were doing a lot of stuff with submarines.
Okay.
I don't know what this trapdoor looks like, but we know about maritime law, and like we've talked about it with cruise ships and stuff. Basically, when you're out in the middle of the ocean, it's a free-for-all. It's the wild, wild west. This is why Peter Thiel wanted to have floating cities, right? No law, no order. I guarantee you Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and all of these people have access to their own submarines. You see these mega yachts that are above the water. Imagine the mega submarines.
All right, just put in the trapdoor. Now we can pull up the trapdoor here. In the I-5. Boom, trapdoor. Let's take a look at this. What do you think this is right here?
Yes, and thank you. I'm sorry. P. Tom 5 said Ghislaine Maxwell had a submarine license. That's right. That's another important part. Okay, here we go. Trapdoor, which led to the sea from inside Epstein's house in the island. Now, how do you get into a submarine?
Well, typically you board from above the water.
Well, that's
you
above.
Climb into the hatch. I mean, I'm speaking not from experience. I'm speaking simply from the ride at Disneyland. Okay, and I don't know if that's an actual submarine. You know, the one I'm talking about, where you like see the Nemo people.
Of course, it used to be the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, you go in from the top, and then it sinks down. You don't I don't think you board from inside. But
I'm checking something out.
But look, I mean, I'm unfortunately conditioned to think that that's probably I have the most nefarious explanation, because why would you have a secret tunnel, or sorry, you have a secret trap door to enter a submarine? Wouldn't you just want if you have a submarine license and you like submarines, you can build some kind of docking on the island where it's like, this is where we get into our submarine. It's just on the dock.
But then people will be able to see you do that.
Well, I mean, submarines aren't illegal. You can go on submarines.
Yeah, but it's illegal if you're a fugitive.
A fugitive?
Like Epstein.
Well, he wasn't a fugitive at the time. I mean, this is just normal operations, right? We had that Titanic submarine guy.
Or if you didn't want people to know you're going on the island and you're not taking Lolita Express, you're getting there by submarine.
I don't think so, because if we think about this as a blackmail operation, you would absolutely want to keep track of who's going in and out of the island.
Unless it's David Rothschild.
Okay, so you're saying that the top bosses wanted a way to get into the island?
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, like... Hidden door from inside a house to a submarine. This is Grok.
All right, here it is.
In theory, yes, it's possible to have a hidden door or passage from a building leading to a submarine, but that is more stuff of spy novels, movies, or highly classified military installations. And look, if we're talking about military installations, we know that Jeffrey Epstein's tied in with Mossad, CIA, MI6. Like, he would have access to all of that stuff. And Ghislaine Maxwell, who had her submarine license, look at her father.
Look, I'm not saying that they're not doing stuff with submarines. I'm just saying that looks to me like a way to dispose bodies. That's all I'm saying.
I think both could be true. You know what I mean? I'm saying both could be true. But talking about, is Jeffrey Epstein alive? Let's see if I have this bigger here. Okay, did you see these notes that were found in the Epstein files?
No,
these are
explain
Jeffrey Epstein's prison notes.
Okay.
Which are really interesting. This is just a part of it. But it looks like he could have been planning an escape. Okay? Let me go back here. This is on the left side. When you look over here, it looks like a drawing of maybe a prison cell.
Yeah.
And then above it says RTM, right?
Is that an equation?
Well, it's very common jail terminology, risk transfer medical.
Okay.
And we know that there was that prison guard on 4chan that said that he was transferred to medical, and then that van showed up, and that's super odd. And then here you have the note. So over here, You have MIA, US. Look on the right. You have it says banks, blankets, guards. You have Red Notice, which is interesting. Red Notice is an Interpol fugitive alert. And there's no universal enforcement rule. So some countries might detain you, others might not. And look, it's common for wealthy or connected individuals sometimes to challenge or delay them, which I thought was interesting. You also have LSN, which at first I thought was K, but then I realized it's LSN. That is, I don't know if I have that on here. That is Lone Star Airport in Texas, which is only for private jets and government military planes. You have US Jet US, Prep. I mean, who knows what to make out of this, but it sure looks like he could have been possibly planning his escape, especially when you look at this file from the Epstein files where they are detailing that there was a decoy body that UCMC, the jail, had constructed to divert the media away from the real van that was carrying Epstein's body. That's so strange.
That is very strange. And I think this, okay, so I have two possibilities. One thing that rules that these documents rule out is that he committed suicide. Okay, so nobody who's planning and writing down all of those notes is in a state of mind of giving up.
Right.
Okay, so he's obviously negotiating, because I've heard other things he was trying to work also some deal to expose people to potentially some kind of additional second sweetheart deal. I'm going to out some people. I'm going to go and get transferred out of here, maybe get extradited to Israel, whatever it might be. That's a possibility, but it's certainly not a possibility that he's you know what? This is the end of the road for me. I give up. I'm just going to self-check out. That's not going to happen here. So then the two possibilities obviously are that somebody killed him, because there are a lot of powerful people that would want him dead. That's certainly a possibility. And I would say before our show last week, I would be 100% on that train. And then now, since all the stuff that's come on the last week, I don't think we can discount the possibility that he might still be alive.
And then have you seen the Fortnite stuff?
I have. Okay, so I have looked into the Fortnite stuff, and that has sort of been somewhat debunked, at least for me, just because there's no trace of that being the actual account that he had before. It's just a username, and they're saying that username was more recently generated than. It doesn't have a long history.
But isn't it connected to his email, one of his known emails?
That's the part where I couldn't find that particular corroboration, that it was actually tied to that email. Okay. It was just the username. Somebody in the chat, you can chime in on this, but that's what because I was looking down, it's oh wow, was this account really potentially his? And there was no link to the actual email address that we see, in the files that he was using. But there are a lot of, what we can go on, are the substantiated facts and documentation, the thing with the Justice Department having the date wrong. You saw that, right? The date was one day before he died, right? They were announcing
the 9th.
The 9th, but they wrote the 8th. Oh, no, sorry. They wrote the 9th and
he died on the 10th, but they said he died on the 9th in that one document. But the thing is with that, there's two documents. One says the 9th, one says the 10th. So it's are they purposely putting fake information in these files so that they can say, look, we know, right? Trump would say, it was the Democrats. It's a hoax. I told you they're putting fake shit in here. Now everybody's absolved of their crimes because we don't know what's real and what's not real.
Well, I don't think, okay, so first off, Bill Barr was the Attorney General when he died. So this would not be a Democrat hoax. It would be a Republican hoax if it was a hoax.
I'm just saying what I can see the narrative being. Just like how the day after Charlie Kirk was shot, I said, guarantee you they're going to say this was a transgender. Remember? I said that. It's not hard to follow the playbook. And speaking of Bill Barr, wasn't it Bill Barr's dad that was in the CIA that recruited Jeffrey Epstein?
Allegedly.
So really interesting. But speaking of that date, here's another prison note. And this is what really bugs me. Why are they redacting prison notes? Okay, but one of the things is it says jail out equal 10. Who knows what that means? But isn't it interesting that he supposedly died on the 10th? And
okay, you're saying that he's literally writing that he could be going out of jail on the 10th.
And that date, the 10th, is when the decoy body was.
Well, yeah, I mean, the decoy body, obviously, it was on the 10th because that's when he supposedly was moved out. Either he was still alive or dead. I don't know.
I'm just saying it's very interesting that in these redacted notes here, jail out equal 10. And it just happens to be on the 10th is when he quote unquote died. And also, what are they redacting? It looks like 926 down below and then some other numbers. To me, they're redacting potentially prison guards' phone numbers or individuals' names. There's no reason that there would need to be redactions on his prison notes if he's dead.
Well, unless
what?
Unless he was like, call Mossad or national security. I don't know what it is.
Sure.
But unless it's one of those, or I guess the other thing would be victims' names. But that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Which, by the way, they did a horrible job of in terms of redacting victims' names. They actually under-redacted victims' names and then over-redacted the names of alleged perpetrators.
It's insane. And the reason I find this to be extra interesting from my personal experience as a content creator is that TikTok historically has always censored information that they don't want out there. That doesn't mean that it's not real, true information. For example, my first time, like my 5th story I ever did was about geoengineering and chemtrails. I learned very quickly that is not allowed on TikTok, right? But the information I was reporting on was 100% real. This was in 2023 when I first started, and it went super viral. It had hundreds of thousands of views in like the first 10 minutes. And they took it down, whatever. I've had this happen a lot, and they're always, it's just interesting the stories they take down, right? In 2024 or late 2023, the fact that in the United States they're using mRNA vaccines on our cows, taken down, right? This was from farmers, factual information. They don't want that information getting out there. Recently, I have been retesting TikTok because now it's new ownership, and I'm surprised they've been allowing Epstein stories. The only stories they've taken down, weirdly, escape plan stories.
Because it's misinformation. What
I'm
reason?
only quoting the files. I'm not saying he's alive or not. I am simply saying these are the notes. Could it be that he was trying to escape? Or the decoy body one they took off. This is a file from the FBI saying that OCMC, the prison, did make a decoy body out of boxes to divert the media from the real Jeffrey Epstein body. Why are they taking that story down?
Well, I mean, God knows what's going on at TikTok nowadays. It seems like quite the shit show, if I may, that's going on in there, because they're like, who do we need to censor? Like, what issues? Is it the Israel issue? Are we doing that? Like, do we want, does this story make Trump look good? Does it make him look bad? Because obviously Larry Ellison very close with Trump, so he would want to protect Trump in a lot of situations, so they got to evaluate that situation. So I think there's a lot of things going on. I've heard just internal grumblings at TikTok of just like employees just in terms of they're just like, they don't know what the fuck's going on.
TikTok's the new TPUSA.
I mean, it's...
We got a new super chat. Let's pull this on over. This is from Jasper Joe 8. Thank you so much for the $10. At music award shows, everyone thanks a certain singer that just switched to a country. Could it be because they are offering the chickens? Just a thought.
Who are they talking about?
Don't look at me.
I mean, that's...
At award... I mean...
Thanks to that just switched to a country. Oh, like country music or switch countries?
I'm assuming the country would be Israel, but I don't know.
Or are they talking about country music?
Please clarify, Jasper Joe, so we can figure out this encrypted message.
And maybe it's encrypted for everybody's safety. You know what I'm saying? That's certainly a possibility. But yeah, I know. I think keep testing the TikTok just because I'm not able to anymore, and I'm not starting another account because.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Well, I think you're flagged permanently.
I think I might be flagged for sure, just because they've taken down the Today-ish account as well for no reason. We didn't even post anything on there that was problematic, so to speak. We posted like 5 things. They're like, this account's gone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, with the is he alive theory that is out
Beyonce.
there.
I'm hearing Beyonce is
People are saying Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll.
And they're
not
saying,
Jelly
please,
Roll.
no, Jelly
no,
Roll.
Beyonce. Well, Beyonce did recently switch to country. Did Jelly Roll also do country?
Jelly Roll would be interesting because he's been like praising Jesus, and we got to get back, but I don't know who everybody's thanking. But in the meantime, while you guys are chatting away and letting us know what's going on there, obviously I think the chicken,
right.
Here we go. Jasper's back.
Let's toss that in there.
Thank you again for the super chat. Country music, a female singer. Beyonce. Everybody's thanking Beyonce. See, I don't watch the Grammys or anything anymore, but obviously we know that Beyonce is tied in with Jay-Z.
Right.
And Jay-Z is
out of this country. He's disappeared. I don't know where he is right now. That's the reporting, right?
Well, no, he was at the Super Bowl with his kids.
Was he?
Don't you know Rock Nation owns the rights to the halftime show? That's his company.
Oh.
And so that's why a lot of people believe that, the Super Bowl is a satanic ritual.
I didn't see any satanic things in this particular
No,
Super Bowl.
I you know what? I was ready for it,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, okay, I don't listen to Bad Bunny's music. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let's see it. Lady Gaga's in it. Now, I want to be clear. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know the words, right? But I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. Like I liked the beat. It was fun.
So I don't know. I think maybe they knew what was going on. I don't know, but it certainly was a better show than the TPUSA. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it doesn't really matter. But I thought it was. I mean, they had a wedding in the show because everybody thought it was going to be some crazy, woke satanic stuff, and so you just had like dancing, a wedding. It didn't seem like anything that was like too
No, the thing is people were like,
political.
oh my gosh, Bad Bunny's going to be wearing a dress. No, he looked fly in a white suit. Like he looked good, So anyways, but that is an interesting piece of information. Jay-Z was at the Super Bowl. His company does have the rights to the halftime show and has since I think like 2007. So that's part of like the conspiracies around the Super Bowl, along with there being tunnels underground and that sex trafficking always happens during the Super Bowl. But we'll get to that later. I want to go back to the Jeffrey Epstein, is he still alive? This is a clip recently since the files were released. This is Prince Andrew's former girlfriend, Lady Victoria, now claiming that Jeffrey Epstein could be living a secret life in Israel. She's saying she's no longer convinced that he's dead. Let's take a look at this.
I don't even think Jeffrey Epstein's dead anymore, to be honest.
You don't think Jeffrey Epstein's dead?
No, I don't. I think he might be alive.
What would lead you to that conclusion?
I'd seen one of those emails, one of the ones that ended up in the files, and I think that prison guard needs to be interviewed. The one that he said he saw the bodies being switched out.
So your honest belief is that Jeffrey Epstein is alive somewhere?
I said it's not my honest
I see.
belief, but I think it's a possibility.
Where might he be?
Israel, I wouldn't say. I don't even think Jeffrey Epstein's dead anymore, to be honest.
She's the one that said, if you were anybody, you would be in the Epstein files. If you're not in the Epstein files, you're a nobody kind of thing. And I just think it's interesting that they're even allowed to even throw in Israel like that because anti-Semitism. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Which, by the way, Pam Bondi used that as a defense yesterday. That going
she
out.
can't talk about the files.
No, it's because she's like, you're only going after this because, of anti-Semitism or you hate the Jews kind of thing. Like, people are like, what? And the funny thing is, like, the congressperson asking these questions in that moment was a Jewish congressman or a congresswoman, and she was like, my grandfather died in the Holocaust. It's like, what are you doing?
Interesting. Well, speaking of the Super Bowl, we're going to transition into Michael Jackson.
Is it that time? Michael Jackson.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, speaking of Israel, we're going to talk a little bit about Michael Jackson.
So wait, hold on. Before we get, so I just want to, I think I'm like 75% on Epstein is dead. Somebody killed him, or a group of people conspiracy, and then 25% he's still alive. And then you're 100% zero, right? You're like he's 100% alive.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Michael Jackson.
I'm curious what the chat thinks, but so after the Super Bowl, people were bringing up that Michael Jackson's Super Bowl was really about saving the children. Okay, so let's watch a clip of Michael Jackson's Super Bowl show, and we're going to start there. And obviously, for those of you guys that don't know, Michael Jackson was accused for decades of being a child molester and using his ranch, Neverland Ranch, to molest and go after children, and really up to his death.
Sure.
And so we're going to go over maybe why that started, and we're going to start with playing his Super Bowl show. But look.
But it's also, he's like featuring kids prominently, and you think this is like some kind of message of protecting kids versus exploiting kids?
Well, instead of making it about him, you can see in this caption, he spoke about children. He donated his fee and performed Heal the World, a song he wrote with purpose. And Michael Jackson was also known for always being involved with helping kids that had cancer, financing their cancer treatments. He was very into philanthropy with children. And look, I just want to say, on this specific subject, I'm a normie. I know very little. I just started scratching the surface, but I wanted to kind of bring it on the show because, you know, I'm already dragged enough. So what's the difference if I know... if I know it super well or not? You guys can do more of the investigating. But what I do know is that Michael Jackson has said many times that he was abused by his father. His father was known to be this like tyrant, horrible guy. And he didn't have a childhood. And so he had said like many years, like he basically would try to save children and save child actors from being abused, right? And he felt very strongly about this. What people don't know, and what I didn't know until recently, is that in 1993, Michael Jackson was writing a song called Palestine Don't Cry, okay? And he wanted it to be on his 1995 album, His Story, Past, Present, and Future, but Tommy Mottola, who happens to be one of my followers, which is scary,
Very interesting
who Michael
line.
Jackson has called the devil openly, apparently shut down this song from being able to be aired on the album. And this was in early 1993, and he wrote this because of a conflict that was going on between Israel and Palestine at the time, okay? This is right up your alley, James.
Yeah, and this was during, I believe this is the first Intifada, if I may.
Okay.
Just double check that.
So, shortly after that, a few months after that, in 1993, the same year after that song gets shut down, is the first time that Michael Jackson is accused of inappropriate touching and molesting a child. This child's name was Jordan Chandler. And weirdly, this is a whole nother story I need to go into. The family became friends with Michael Jackson because the stepfather of this boy owned a rental car company that rented out to celebrities, and Michael Jackson's car had broken down. This was the guy that came to the rescue. They somehow got involved with the family. The family became close friends with Michael Jackson. They would go to Neverland Ranch. And then out of the blue, years after hanging out, Michael Jackson wants to release this song. It gets shut down. And then the first molestation charges come out.
I've always believed that Michael Jackson was innocent. Some of these allegations
Disk
seem
space getting low.
very bizarre. Oh, disk space, I don't like that. That's not ideal. All right, I will fix that. And then you just...
And Jacob, I couldn't read the rest of your name because I got moved. Jacob Cabral 13 said Jordan Chandler is a planted psyop. So a lot of people believe that. They ended up not going to court, and the family got millions of dollars from Jeffrey Epstein. Then in 2005, another kid comes forward, Gavin Arvizo, who was a kid that was in cancer treatments that Michael Jackson financed and would visit him in the hospital. He was charged with 4 counts of molesting a minor, 4 counts of intoxicating a minor with alcohol, 4 counts of conspiracy, abduction, extortion, and he took that to trial. And the jury, after looking at all of the evidence, found Michael Jackson innocent on all charges. But obviously, this was something that haunted him his whole entire life. They tried to ruin his reputation. They tried to drag him. And he was even coming out and trying to vouch for himself.
Oh, what is this? The page doesn't exist anymore. They're still shutting this down. What was it?
What?
What is happening here? What is this?
Oh my gosh. Michael Jackson saying, I am innocent. You know, that's not going to do. I got to find this.
All right. So while you're looking for that, I think he was targeted. I mean, you see this happen over and over again, where if you speak out against a certain thing, all of a sudden you're labeled.
Here it is.
Here we go. All right. We got it.
Sorry. I have to play this. I know what it looked like. Here we go.
I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent. It was a nightmare, a horrifying nightmare. But if this is what I have to endure to prove my innocence, my complete innocence, so be it. Throughout my life, I have only tried to help thousands upon thousands of children to live happy lives. It brings tears to my eyes when I see any child who suffers. I am not guilty of these allegations, but if I am guilty of anything, it is of giving all that I have to give to help children all over the world. It is of loving children of all ages and races. It is of gaining sheer joy from seeing children with their innocent and smiling faces. It is of enjoying through them the childhood that I missed myself. I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth.
His sister, remember, he had Janet Jackson as a sister. He also had Toya Jackson as a sister. And this was an interview that she had done. She had said, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Look at what's going on here. All of your sources are getting redacted in real time.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this one.
You just put this in yesterday, right?
Last night.
Wow. These accounts are getting scrubbed in real time. Because you would think that Twitter, X, like, they don't censor, but they actually do censor quite a bit on there. Some of these things.
Right, okay, so what I will say is that LaToya Jackson, here she is right here. She married her agent, I believe, and he beat the shit out of her, okay? And he was extremely abusive. And in this clip that I was going to play, and I'm still going to look for it, she said he'd lock her in a closet for 8 hours a day. And she knew Michael Jackson wasn't a pedo, but she was scared for her life from this guy, and who was her husband. And this is obviously somebody who was abused as a child. The father abused all of the Jackson kids. And that she was given a script to read that said that Jackson abused children. She was one of the people that came out and said Michael Jackson was a pedo. But she did an interview later in life and explains, and that was the clip that's now scrubbed, and explains that she did not actually believe that, but that her husband scared her into thinking that he was going to kill her or do something to Michael if she didn't say that he was a pedophile during these court cases.
Wow. I think we got to do a deeper dive on Michael Jackson. We got to recover some of these clips. My goodness, right? And I do believe, I think I 100% he was targeted in this situation. He was saying stuff you're not. You got to remember, he was like the biggest star of all time.
He still is in a lot of ways.
He still is in a lot of ways.
Okay, let me see if
Is this it right here?
This is what the interview is from.
All right,
I'm not sure which clip it is, because this is obviously different. So let's just
play it.
What you went through with Jack Gordon, what you people that positioned themselves in his life, positioned themselves to control and take advantage of him. And that's what bothered me more than anything else, because I knew something terrible would happen at the end, not to mention the fact that Michael constantly told me, Latoya, if I die, they're going to murder me, they're going to kill me. He would tell me that, Barbara. When I found out he had actually passed, I said, no, it wasn't an accident. He was murdered.
Your brother was murdered.
I always believed that from day one, when I found out that he was no longer with us. I said, I'm not going to accept anything else, Barbara. They could have told me a heart attack. They could have told me he had fallen off a ladder, and I would have said, no, it's not a heart attack. He was murdered. Did he fall off a ladder? No, he was murdered.
Who murdered your brother?
I don't know exactly who. I think there are more players involved than we know. This is just my opinion. This is what I feel. I know what Michael was afraid of. I know that when you're in a position...
What was he afraid of?
He was afraid of his life. He would say, I'm afraid of my life. I'm afraid they're going to assassinate me. I'm afraid they're going to kill me. He would always say that, Barbara.
Latoya said that Michael was murdered by people who would benefit financially from his death, but she never made it clear who she believes was involved or how they would profit. Will you name names?
I think within time it just might come out and people will know.
Latoya, wouldn't the family also?
Okay.
Okay, wait, but let's see if the next one...
That positioned themselves in his life, positioned themselves to control and take advantage
it's the same clip. So...
There's a 49-second one.
Maybe this is the one.
What you went through with Jack Gordon made you understand some things that were happening to Michael. Explain.
Barbara, what I went through with Jack Gordon, him controlling me, controlling my entire life, you must remember, everybody in that circle that I was with, the security that I had were the security that he hired. The girls that worked for me were the girls that he hired. He controlled everything I did, I said, everything. So, as a result, I knew that Michael was going through the same thing that I was going through.
When we come back, Latoya's accusations of conspiracy and murder.
We got to find the whole thing here.
Something terrible would happen at the end, not to mention the fact that Michael constantly...
Okay, well, look, they scrubbed the clip I wanted to show you, so I don't have it. And you can click off of this while I look for it. But she said that she was given a script to read that said he was a pedo. And that's very odd to me with everything that's going around with the Charlie Kirk assassination, with all the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. And by the way, we should also bring up Aaron Carter, who went on and did an interview. Aaron Carter talked to an interviewer and said, they tried to get me to flip on Michael, who never did anything to me. My mom put me in a room, and then very shortly after this, he died. And I'm working on a story. I know somebody that's very close to the family and was very close to Aaron. So hopefully we'll be getting something here, but let's watch this.
The one boy. Now listen to this. I have to tell you this. Okay. So after I left the party, and the next day I smoked with Michael, and then I get in the limousine and I leave. I get back to the Sheraton Hotel at Universal over here. There's 4 FBI agents waiting for me in the hotel room. And my mom's there, and she's like, tell them what happened. And I'm like, what do you mean tell them what happened? And I sit down with them, and they all ask these super sexually exploited, questions, back-sided questions. And I knew that at my age already. And I looked at all 4 of them, and I said, are y'all crazy? I said, what you think I'm gonna do? Tell you that Michael did something bad so that we can sue him for money? That's what I told him. I was like, you're crazy. And I looked over at my mom, and I was like, are you serious, Mom? I was like, what is going on here? Why are you letting this happen? And she goes, well, I think something happened, I think something. I'm like, really? That man did nothing but be hospitable, kind, loving, giving, Everything you can think of. We rode 4-wheelers for 5 hours, me, him, and Chris Tucker, in the mountains at nighttime after his birthday party. Him and I hung out and talked pretty much all.
It's very interesting that Michael is dead, but Diddy is alive and well.
Very interesting.
And very much accused of the same type of behavior.
And notice I had saved that clip. That was from my Google Drive. That's what I'm going to have to do with all of them.
You have to do that. Going forward, you got to download. You got to download that now.
Tedious ass process. I always complain, I got to put this in
No,
my Google
I wish
Drive.
I would have done that for all the Charlie Kirk clips that came out on the day of.
I know.
It's really, really hard to find if not impossible, because I'm working on that documentary right now and I can't. Like, I was like, man, I should have saved all of those videos that people, the first-hand videos that people were posting the day of. They're all pretty much gone now from the internet.
I might have some.
So, but it's interesting. Like, we've seen the clips of Diddy with Justin Bieber, right? Very,
way
disgusting.
worse.
Yeah, and
And then let's just look. How did Aaron Carter die?
How did he die?
He died in an accidental bathtub drowning.
Was it? Let's see.
He was found unresponsive and submerged in his bathtub by his housekeeper. Sorry, guys, but...
I know he was struggling. The issue with a lot of these people is that they're pushed into this, mental health decline, right? Because everybody's...
threatening them, probably.
Well, they're telling them they're crazy. They might be getting threatened behind the scenes. We don't know for sure. And it's driving them to be, super isolated. They don't have anybody to reach out to. So then you could see them being pushed into something really, really bad.
Or paranoid. If you're showing up, and nothing bad's happening, if I go home and I show up and there's 4 FBI agents and they're like, tell us what James is doing. Yeah. And I'm like, James isn't doing anything. And they're like, you tell us now or we're going to haunt you for the rest of your life. You'd be like, what? So yeah, it might make you use drugs or do these things. And, that's one of the things that people say benefit Nick Fuentes is because he is sober. He doesn't use drugs, right? He is celibate. And those are a lot of the tactics and different ways that it seems that different intelligence agencies are able to use against people, right? By honeypotting people or, they're a drug addict or they're this, so they died of an overdose, right? And so by being, and I'm not saying that I don't think Nick Fuentes is tied in with intelligence after his Jeffrey Epstein clips, that they're only 14. I think he could have been captured like Alex Jones. But I do think that in these situations with these young Hollywood stars, child actors and stuff, that's an easy narrative that they can play out.
100%, I think. And this is kind of parallel with whistleblowers, I think, as well, because a lot of whistleblowers kind of die of very weird deaths, so-called suicides and things like that. And I think it's either, part of it is or not me, but the people who are out there doing this are we want them to commit suicide. Ideally, they would just do it themselves. And the people who won't do it themselves then will take care of it later, right? They want to drive them to suicide, but if they don't, then, they'll take care of it. Like Michael Jackson, for example, you could say we're obviously speculating here, but he obviously showed a lot of mental fortitude. Maybe it's because of his upbringing. He kept fighting. He wanted to be, he didn't want to go down and just, I think because he could have pled, I think, and made some kind of deal, but he didn't make the deal that they wanted him to make.
Who?
Michael Jackson.
Well, he did make a deal with that first molestation charge. The second one, he did take it to trial, and he won.
Right, that's
on
what I'm saying.
10 accounts. Yeah.
So, okay, maybe I don't remember the first, because I just remember him going to trial, and they didn't find anything on him that was they were able to convict him on. I think that's what it is. You either make the deal or we'll make the deal for you. You may not like that second deal because you may not be around to see the second deal.
Well, and let's not also forget how Michael Jackson died.
Well, I thought it was a drug overdose.
Well, he was supposedly getting, propofol, which is an anesthetic, right? That they use for twilight anesthesia. And there was that Dr. Conrad Murray. In the chat, you guys let me know, somebody else had the Dr. Conrad Murray that was famous. I'm going to look it up myself. But he basically, the story was that Michael Jackson couldn't sleep at night. So Conrad Murray would administer small amounts, microdose him with propofol. Like what? He couldn't take a weed gummy and pass out. He had to have propofol into his veins. And that he accidentally overdosed on propofol one night. He tried to perform CPR. Conrad Murray was then charged with like second-degree murder. He only spent 2 years in jail. He's out and about now. He's been out since, I believe, 2013. And he was getting paid $150,000 a month to be Michael's personal doctor.
Wow.
Is the chat telling us who else Conrad Murray's doctor was?
Who was Conrad Murray's doctor?
No. Who was he also a doctor for that was famous?
It wasn't. Couldn't have been Matthew Perry. What?
No, but
that was another.
The dude was sweating. The dude was sweating during his testimonies. But people believe Bourdain was offed.
Well, Bourdain is another difficult one. It's like, because he obviously had mental health issues that were public, but they certainly can drive something. That's what I'm saying. Is like, I think some of these people do commit suicide. They're driven to that point.
Yeah.
Some of these people who don't, then they take care of them. Bourdain did that famous piece where he went to Gaza. He was one of the few people, mainstream, who took a camera crew, went into Gaza and showed like how peaceful they were and the culture and the food and everything like that, humanized them basically. And I think he took a lot of heat for that. And, you know, that was always something that he was very courageous. That was something that he did that was very courageous.
Lady Luck 420 said, then MJ's security went to work for Diddy.
No way. That's crazy.
I got like,
oh my gosh.
It's all connected.
Let's do it. This is great. So yes, we're doing a live investigation here. Did MJ security,
which I feel like we could actually
Diddy?
do like live investigative shows where we just like take a topic. I think it would be good.
Let's see here. Well, we're doing it right now, so
I know, but like a
you let us
full
know.
show,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I am planning to do that potentially with that web tool. Yes.
Yes. Farhim Muhammad, who served as Michael Jackson's chief of security and was one of the first people to discover his body, of course. I'm surprised it wasn't Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's boyfriend. On June 25th, 2009, went to work as Sean Diddy Combs' head of security shortly after Jackson's death.
Wow. Okay.
Muhammad, often referred to as Mr. Fix-It in lawsuits and media accounts, was hired by Jackson in 2008 as a bodyguard and driver at age 21. Well, the driver thing is interesting because I would wonder if he was the driver when the car broke down that connected him to the family that accused him of molestation.
Right. And this kind of reminds me of the thing we're going to talk about to wrap the show, which is all the very weird characters at TPUSA who were once part of like very sketchy, scandalous things.
Yes.
Who went on to work for Charlie Kirk. What was that all about?
I'm half listening because I'm into the...
Yeah.
Oh, Blake Neff.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so we'll have to get into this later.
All right. No. Okay. Oh, you mean the car breaking down thing?
Yes.
Well, let's give it a second. Let's give it a second to do its thing here.
Oops. How did I get emojis? I couldn't even copy and paste earlier. Now I'm popping up emojis unintentionally.
Oh, it's doing its thing here. Referring to the time his car broke down and he met the family.
Okay,
of
no,
Chandler.
he was too young then. But anyways, crazy stuff. We have another super chat that I had skipped over. You can click it to you or me. Here we go, bringing this in. Julex. Any link between Jerky and the the two drowned chefs? Okay, I know one of the chefs I believe you're referring to is the Obama chef.
I'm not familiar with that. Yeah.
Okay, so one of Obama's chefs, this was in 2023 he died, because I remember I had just started doing stories on TikTok. And he was a great swimmer. There's videos of him swimming. And he had been, in the background working for the Obamas for years and years. And people believe he heard too much. And even though he was this very good swimmer, supposedly he went out for a paddle boarding at Martha's Vineyard and drowned. Huh. And what's weird about that to me is you have this Savannah Guthrie mom kidnapping case everywhere. And I personally have not looked into it too deep because I believe it's a huge cover up and a fake story going on or a setup to distract from the Epstein files. Because all the Fox watchers, like my mother, she was in the chat earlier. I'm not going to tell you who she is. I don't know if she's still in here. But she's like, you got to look at Savannah Guthrie. Well, guess what? She's the one that did all the interviews with Obama. And in one of the interviews, the chef is in the background, which is interesting.
Yeah, somebody was pointing out. I'm kind of with you on that. I haven't looked deeply into the Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother being kidnapped because she's very wealthy. So some people are saying they would have just paid the money. They would have just extracted a ransom. There's no ransom. Things going on. And they're saying this is a massive distraction for everything that's going on with the Epstein files, with the ICE, with all the stuff that's people would regularly pay attention to. Now they have something to put on mainstream news because this now is like a soap opera type of situation. And they're getting these drips of things every single day where it's like, you got to tune in tomorrow. Maybe we'll have another camera leak or we found whatever, traces of this, perpetrator here. And then it becomes like wall-to-wall 24-hour news coverage versus
full psyop.
Yeah, I think this is one of those situations. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, Savannah is sort of the I don't know what you call it, the martyr in this situation, or something unfortunate is happening to her because they're using her.
She did all the Clinton interviews. She did a large portion of the Clinton interviews. She's very tied in with the Clinton and the Obamas, and we know Bill. We know Bill is right.
And so what's the implication of her being tied in with the Clintons and the Obamas?
Hey, we need you to do us a favor. We need you to distract from these files because we're getting fucking hounded right now.
Oh, I don't think that's...
Send your mom
to
LSJ.
No, because then she would have to lie. They would just kidnap the mom without telling her.
Either way.
They would just... In these situations, I think they just use people. It's like you're caught up in this whole mess. You don't have... Because all of these guys are sort of in the system. They're puppets. They're playing a role. So I think they wouldn't say, hey, can you do this for us? It would just be... It's being done to you.
And Mar R310 said TMZ is suspect. Wasn't Harvey Levin in the files?
Big time in the files. Yeah.
And also, I guess I'm not going back on TMZ anytime soon. But in the files, and also they're owned by Fox.
Yes.
TMZ is.
Wait, TMZ is a news.
Murdoch.
Oh, interesting.
Owned subsidiary. So they're all pushing the same information in a coordinated effort for a reason.
Well, look, okay, so go back to I just put him a TMZ little thing on, if you see it right there.
Yes.
This is an article they released 2 days ago. I just find it, somebody sent it to me, DM me and said, hey, this is what they put out there. Sexy stars eating pizza, sauced and unfiltered, February 9, 2026. It's like, are they trying to just, rub it in our faces, or are they saying that, no, we do have pizza parties with real pizza? Like, what do you think the sort of purpose of this article would be, and the timing of its release? Right? These aren't new photos. It's not like, oh, everybody loves pizza. Like, pizza's in style now. It's just like, what is this?
It's very, very strange, and I do think TMZ was heavily involved in the Kanye takedown. Remember, they had him on, they showcased him, they made him look like he was going crazy. And again, we've gone into the Kardashians' connections with I Believe Intelligence through Corey Gamble.
Yeah.
He's another Epstein tied in with Justin Bieber. He came out of nowhere. He's flying on private jets. He's the first one to show up at P. Diddy's ex-wife's house, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think that coroner might have done Michael Jackson's death.
Wow.
Don't want to have to research something else, but I might.
You got. I mean, it's a never-ending trove of things to research. Unfortunately, just all the craziness that's going on. But I do think that there's. I mean, I think maybe they brought you on to TMZ because they thought, oh, maybe if we get her on, she'll want to be on the show more, and then she'll shut up about TMZ and talking bad about us.
I never talk bad about them though, but now I am.
That's what I'm saying, is that by giving you access, because you know what, one drug, this is, I think, I'm trying to remember who said it first. It might have been Ian Carroll, might have been another person, I can't remember. But they're like, hey, you know what's more powerful? What's a more powerful drug than money? It's access. Like being in the club sometimes is even more powerful than getting paid to say something. Right, because you see those Israeli influencers, 7K, but you can only do 7K for so much. But if you make them feel like, oh, wow, you're getting access to the White House, you're getting these great interviews, you're getting invited to the parties, that sometimes is even more effective than just straight cash payments. And so now maybe they were trying to get you into the club. It's like, hey, Dani's going to be our next person that we groom, who are going to be doing all these great interviews. She's going to come in. We're going to test her out to see if she's going to play ball. And then if she does, then we'll get her more elevated.
And then I went on and I talked shit about Gavin Newsom. And they're like, no, he's our next president. It was Ed Winter. Here we go. Longtime Deputy Coroner Ed Winter, who handled many high-profile celebrity death investigations, including Michael Jackson's, was also involved in the investigation into Kim Porter's death, who passed away in 2023.
Wow. They're all...
Same motherfucker.
Probably a coincidence, right?
Well,
no, I'm kidding.
He also, I know for a fact that Ed Winter also was the guy that did Brittany Murphy's investigation. So don't worry, guys. I won't sell my soul. I will not do that.
Her soul is very expensive, so if she has sold it one day,
even Epstein can't afford this soul. No one can get it.
Anyways, all right. So we'll probably have to wrap in a couple minutes here because we have another interview coming up.
And I have to eat before.
Any last things you want to cover?
Okay, yes, I do. Okay. So, Clavicular. Big
you mean
time.
The guy, the streamer guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clav.
Yeah.
In with like Sneeko and Nick Fuentes and that whole group. He's the one who like rates women's faces.
Yeah.
Okay. He's had this long time super chatter giving him like $500 at a time.
Wow.
Named P.
You saying it's
to take over 10 hours for the stream marathon, so I'm gonna try to work some of that in. But P, he's going crazy, man. Already donated 500 and 150 subs. What the fuck? Crazy. P, wait, what? WP? Yeah, put on Pusha P, his song. Actually, I don't know how to connect the.
What is he doing?
I think he's injecting like testosterone.
So I'm gonna throw some. What do we got here?
Yeah, he's like.
We got 30 mg. Is to take over.
So yeah.
Well, people are saying this is Peter Thiel. That's P.
So
do we have evidence of that, or is this just purely conjecture?
Okay, so I've watched this, right? I get involved in these weird things, and then I'm like, oh, that was said, this was said. So then this came out, which I thought was interesting.
Do you know who Peter Thiel is?
Peter Thiel, yeah. He's a billionaire that owns Palantir.
I got invited to a Peter Thiel party. You think that's going to be a Diddy party? Probably.
Whew. Billionaires, they get a little creepy.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't want to get diddied.
Hey, anybody that's working a lot after they make like $100 million has some mental issues.
Well,
you want to run a route, they'll do a penalty shootout?
I mean, anyone who makes a lot of money like that, $100 million, has something wrong with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's invited to a Peter Thiel. Okay.
And let's not forget, he was kicked out of the Miami clubs with all of those guys, and then he was also, remember, contacted to go kiss the wall, and he'd be allowed back in the clubs.
And did he go?
There have been rumors that he has accepted, but TBD. And with all of this Epstein stuff coming out, I just want to say, I had said in that episode that I think some black magic shit happens when you do the kiss the wall. Remember? And then you're like, they don't actually kiss it. But actually, I did find out after that episode, some people do kiss it.
Not just put their forehead on it?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But either way, when you look at the satanic blood rituals and these sacrifices and all this weird shit that's going on, the transhumanism, the bells, sound frequency, all these weird things they're doing, I'm starting to think my theory about bringing them out there to kiss the wall, there might be some Harry Potter, Voldemort, black magic shit going on, and I stand by that statement.
All right. So with that, everybody go cleanse your
No!
soul.
Wait, no, we can't end yet.
What?
Even though I'm the one that needs to eat before our next. I want to do the Erika Kirk picture.
Oh, the Erika Kirk photo. Got it. Yes.
Okay.
So there's been a couple of developments on this. So people pointed this out online that their wedding photo, Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk's wedding photo, has now been replaced by some kind of scroll, which people say, and I'm one of them, it's some kind of 10 Commandments, like Jewish thing.
Well, the 10 Commandments.
No, but it's in like I don't know what it's called. Go to the next one. It's like some I can't remember the name of it because I'm not that well versed.
What is it?
Grok this thing real quick. So it's whatever this is. Okay.
Who posted this? Oh. I know him.
But here, you do the Grok thing up top where you click on the Grok logo right next to go up there. And so it'll tell you, I can't remember the name of this thing. Talmudic.
Oh, yeah, the Talmud.
But it's not the Talmud. It's like decorative Hebrew text. Maybe it's not the 10 Commandments. It's possibly the Talmud or a similar scripture. But anyways, all right. So the story here is that Erika said, if you go to the next one, the explanation.
Well, I don't even think that we
what
showed the audience what we're looking at. We went straight to the script. When Charlie Kirk was alive in this spot, there was a wedding photo of Charlie and Erika on their wedding day.
Yeah, I said
and
that.
people have, I didn't think that was said.
I said it.
Oh, okay, good. And it's been replaced. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
been replaced with the scroll.
Sorry to be redundant. I didn't think that part was said.
All right, let's go to the explanation here. This is the explanation of Erika. If you scroll down.
Oh, I was like, this guy?
So
the bringing up the public executions guy? That's who's going to be vouching for it?
So a Turning Point USA spokesperson told Newsweek Erika moved it to a lower shelf when her daughter asked to see it so she could hold and look at the photo. It's still on the studio shelf, just lower down where her daughter can look at it whenever she's in there with her mom. By the way, the editor at large for Newsweek is Josh Hammer.
Josh Hammer, you guys, is the one who had the night before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which was September 9th, right?
The night before, it was September 10th that he died.
He died on the 10th.
Yeah.
I just think it's so weird that Jeffrey Epstein died on the 10th and Charlie Kirk died on the 10th. And that those jail notes were jail out equal 10. Anyways.
That's a little bit of noticing for sure.
Anyways, so what was I talking about? Oh, on the 9th, Josh Hammer had gone back to a 2013 tweet that Donald Trump had written saying we need to bring back public executions. He quote retweeted it and wrote like agree or something.
Yeah.
And then the next day, his best friend Charlie Kirk is literally publicly executed.
So Candace did respond to the Newsweek claim.
Candace?
Yes. And she said that I hate to be a stickler for details, but Erika told Glenn Beck, it was her first time back in Charlie's office during that interview, 12/11. So did Gigi ask Mike McCoy to move the wedding photo? Because Mikey gave an interview a month earlier on 11/8 and it was already moved. So this is one of those situations where I think there's some inconsistencies in the story. Maybe she's telling the truth, maybe not. But certainly there's some obfuscation happening, right? 11/8 already been moved, so it's like, what's going on here? She said she hadn't been back to the office since Charlie's death. She's going around. She's looking at all the stuff. She's trying to remember, wow, great memories. Wow, I can't believe all the stuff that Charlie had here. So if she hadn't been back, then who moved the photograph a month earlier?
And I saw something, I don't have it, but that Candace had responded to or replied to that like photo, somebody noticing that photo and said, perhaps they took it down to have the priest pray over it, saying that the night before Charlie died, they had a priest come to the house to pray over their marriage. She's speculating that divorce might have been the case. And then also in Crazy Days and Nights, the Celebrity Blind website, which I know, no credibility except they have like a 99% accuracy rate. They have been saying for months that someone inside of TPUSA is feeding Candace bad information, no, good information, like accurate information about Erika Kirk to make her look bad because they want to get her out of TPUSA and they want to take over. And you and I have talked about this. One of the people that this could be, to me, Blake Neff. Because let's not forget that Blake Neff, the former Tucker Carlson employee, was a wargaming expert at the Marine Corps War College. Very, very strange that this individual that's gotten in with an outlet for alternative media, you could call it, Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk, just happened to be a wargaming subject matter expert for the Marine Corps. And I think a lot of people may have forgot that detail. So just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, certainly a possibility. There's probably some internal factioning going on within TPUSA because it is one of the most powerful organizations. I will talk about this in a documentary that I'm about to release, why they are so powerful, not just in the U.S., but across the globe. So I could definitely see a power struggle happening within TPUSA. It does seem like Erika is the anointed leader, like she's the one that's supposed to take it. I don't know if Blake Neff is the one that's sort of doing the power play struggle in there as well, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one because I could believe it's somebody like him who they want to, because everybody or anybody that they pick is going to be a compromised person. It's going to be somebody with a really weird past who they can control. Erika's certainly one of these people. I mean, if you look into the text messages that came out last week that I was looking, but you can't actually find it on X. I had to go through like Grok to do this like search history thing. I don't know. You saw those text messages that Erika sent to a minor back in 2013.
Please tell me because I really have been busy and I didn't get to like look into all of it.
Yeah. So there is an account on X that has tweeted a lot at Erika Franzwede's account. This is back in 2013, 2014. And there were some very, very disturbing messages. And I tried to go in there and look for them, but I couldn't find them. And so then I did this whole Grok analysis. I was like, hey, Grok, can you go find all the messages where this account is at Erika Kirk? Because I couldn't find him. And then it gave me like the whole list. And if I click on that through Grok, it worked. But if I tried to just find it on Twitter, then it doesn't work.
Interesting.
Yeah, because somebody like posted a screenshot. I was like, oh, this is really bizarre. And I was like, I need to fact check if this is real. And then so I looked up, the account handle was there, and I was scrolling back, and I couldn't find these messages. But then I'm like, okay, let me try the Grok, because Grok does a pretty good job like sweeping all the tweets. And so then there are some things in there that's just like she's like love bombing a minor, basically. It's a little bit of a grooming type of thing. So anyways, long story short, I think whoever they put in power is always somewhat compromised.
Yeah. And someone said, is Candace, am I saying Candace is an op? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what Celebrity Blinds is saying, that people at TPUSA, we know people at TPUSA, whether they're active there or not, have been feeding Candace information. And they might have their own agenda. They could be using Candace for their own gain.
That's true. That's true. Because it doesn't, like, anybody can be an op. Because we can be an op. Because people can feed us true information because they want us to say certain things. I mean, that's
you
just...
are one of the 13 families.
Yeah, I am one of the 13 families. So anybody can be. I think that's why people have to verify the stuff on their own, look at multiple sources, because you don't have to be on the payroll to be an op.
No.
You could be manipulated to be an op.
Right.
So
Super chat. We got to read this. Thank you so much. We got Luis Brooks, 1571, $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Love your work. Stay safe. Check out Sobering Stories. He's done some great deep dives on Diddy, Brittany Murphy, etc. Love you guys. Love you back. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That seems like a story that's right up your alley, Dani.
It is.
It's an investigation that,
But what were we saying we need to research more of? Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
And there was something else. Oh, the yearbooks.
What yearbooks? Oh, Live Touch.
Yes.
Live Touch. We're looking more into the Live Touch. And we really do have to wrap the show at this point. I apologize. But
we need to make sure that I eat before our next interview. So,
but anyways, thank you so much, everybody,
yes.
for being here. Thank you to the Patreon members for keeping the show going. What else is there? Yes, cleanse your soul out there. One of these things, I think we talk about all these really dark things, but remember, the light is still there,
100%.
The light is still there. Go and, you don't pay attention to the Olympic opening ceremony. They're telling
Heal, unite, and fight for the light.
Yes. Appreciate everybody. Did we get all the super chats? Because I think last time we missed a couple super chats.
We got all the super chats now. So we're good to go. Let us know what you think about all of this down below. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.